Hello, this is Learning in the Burner. I'm Garrett,
And this is Neville.
and we're going to be talking about all four Screams. Okay, so Scream 1 came out in 1996. High school student Casey Becker receives a flirty phone call from an unknown person asking her what her favorite scary movie is. And then suddenly it turns into a life threatening situation for her. Casey refuses to answer the questions on the phone, and she's eventually murdered by the masked killer. And her parents find her hanging from a tree, dead. So the following day, while waiting at home for her friend Tatum Riley, Sydney receives a threatening phone call, and she hangs up because it was the killer. And then her boyfriend, Billy Loomis, arrives into her house, comes into the window. He drops a cell phone. Sydney suspects him of making the calls and runs away. Billy's arrested, and Sydney spends the night at Tatum's house, where she receives another threatening call.
It's kind of weird that she jumped to the conclusion that he did it because he had a cell phone, but this is like the early 90s.
Yeah, I guess not. I guess they just had the big old car phones or something at that time.
Yeah. They're like almost the same price as they are right now. Like 800, like $1,000 for a cell phone. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But
The first phone I had was a track phone. It was like $50.
yeah, first phone I had was one of them Nokia indestructible phones.
The one that cracks the concrete when you drop it.
Yeah. Some say that it's still out there selling numbers today.
So Billy is released the next day. Suspicion has shifted to Sydney's father, Neil Prescott. So the calls from the murder were traced to his phone. School is suspended in the wake of the murders. After the students have left the school, Principal Hembry is stabbed to death in his office. So that's the Fonz. The Fonz was the principal in the movie, and he was stabbed to death in his office. Tatum's boyfriend, Stu, throws a party to celebrate the school's closure. The party is attended by Sydney, Tatum, their friend Randy, and many other students. Reporter Gail Weathers attends uninvited to cover the situation, as she expects the killer to strike. Tatum's brother, Deputy Sheriff Dewey Riley, also looks out for the murder at the party. Tatum is killed during the party by having her neck crushed by the garage door. Billy arrives to speak to Sydney privately, and the two ultimately consummate their relationship. Dewey and Gail investigate a nearby abandoned car. After the hearing news of Hembry's death, the principal, Sydney, Billy, Randy, Stu, and Gail's cameraman, Kenny, remain.
You're telling me this lady got crushed by a garage door?
Yeah. Have you seen the movie Scream?
I have. It's been a long time, but I'm like, that must have been the very first garage door ever. You know, like no safety functions. It must have been like
I mean, yeah, it's
a
totally,
diesel-powered garage door opener.
it's very baloney, but yeah, in the movie she crawls through the garage door. Like there's a doggy door in the garage door. She climbs through that, and the garage door opens when she's halfway through the doggy door, and she gets like crushed.
Wait. I thought that was a scary movie.
No, in
There's
the
a doggy
actual
door in the garage door?
yes, in the actual movie, there's a doggy
Oh,
door, and she crawls through the doggy door.
who puts a doggy door in the garage door?
I don't know. These people definitely did it though, and she crawled through it, got stuck. And I don't think a garage door would have enough power to kill a person.
Yeah, I'm like, unless she got like sheared in half.
Yeah, I
All
don't
the
think.
way
I'm
around.
pretty sure the motor would just stall. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, unless she's like 100 pounds even, like
I mean, like if
yeah,
there's like
probably shouldn't have been able to pick her
if
up.
there's a thing in the way, it just hits it and stops. It doesn't like
True.
crush whatever it is.
That's what I'm saying. This has to be the first garage door in history. You know.
Yeah. So she's like dead. Uh,
Isn't the call is coming from in the house from Scream
yeah.
or something?
Like where it's like it's going from in the house or something.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We trace the call. It's coming from in the house.
I don't know.
Am I tripping?
Well, I think that was from Scary Movie. And that's from another movie I want to say. But I don't remember what movie. Okay, so Sydney and Billy are attacked by the killer and repeatedly stabs Billy. Sydney narrowly escapes from the house and seeks help from Kenny, but the killer slits his throat. Sydney then flees again, Gail and Dewey having discovered that the car belongs to Neil Prescott, returns to the house. They believe Neil is the killer and has to come to the party to continue his spree. Gail tries to escape into her van, but drives off the road to avoid hitting Sydney and crashes. Meanwhile, Dewey is stabbed in the back while investigating the house, and Sydney takes the gun. Stu and Randy appear and accuse each other of being the killer. Sydney retreats into the house, where she finds Billy wounded but still alive. She gives Billy the gun. He lets Randy into the house and shoots him. Billy reveals that he faked his injuries and is actually the killer. So this is the part where Billy and Stu are revealed as the killer. Billy and Stu discuss their plan to kill Sydney and frame the murder spree on her father, whom they have taken hostage. The pair also reveal that they, not Cotton, murdered her mother, Maureen, as she was having an affair with Billy's father, which drove his mother away. Gail, who survived the crash, intervenes, and Sydney takes advantage of this to turn the tables on her attackers, killing Stu. Randy is revealed to be wounded but alive. Billy attacks Sydney, but he shoots him in the head, killing him. As the sun rises and police arrive, Dewey, badly injured, is taken away by ambulance, and Gail makes an impromptu news report about the night's events.
Well, damn.
So, basically, a murder's going around. Turns out it is the boyfriend and the boyfriend's friend of Sydney. And the same person, Sydney's boyfriend, also killed her mother a year ago.
Why the fuck would he kill her mother? What did she do?
She had an affair with Billy's dad. Billy's the killer.
What? So she's like a home wrecker? Billy
Yes,
took her
Yep.
down?
that's exactly it.
Well, that's the weakest motivation for a string of murders I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a little on the crazy side, but those two are obviously crazy. You know, you could tell how they're acting that they're just like crazy, I guess, you know?
Hell yeah.
So,
And this is like shot full of quintessential like 90s shtick, you know, like prank calls, you know, and like the meta crap that they were always doing in the 90s, like the dude who works at the movie store.
yeah.
He's like a scary movie expert.
Yeah, the movie store
He's
guy.
like, don't run up the stairs. You know, like that's the last thing you want to do. And like every opportunity, she's like, I'm running up to my room upstairs, like, trapping myself in an actual literal box. Like,
It's a very meta movie. It's a movie that explains stuff that happens in other horror movies. And then its movie with a plot is the same, a horror movie or like a slasher film. So it's a great movie in my opinion. One of my favorites, definitely.
you know, Wes Craven really has a niche need.
Yeah.
He definitely knocked it out of the park on this.
Yeah, this one, great movie, great acting. Like Drew Barrymore at the beginning is great. Matthew Lillard is great. Those are my top two.
Absolutely. Drew was like on top of the world in that time, you know?
Yeah.
She was like pulling out that old school like ET crying stuff. I was like, oh my god, this is a real child actor with full potential.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So next up, Scream 2.
David Arquette, yo.
Huh?
That David Arquette, he's definitely something in this movie.
Oh yeah, Dewey.
Yeah.
He's a great character.
He's a silly bitch.
Okay, so Scream 2 comes out 1997, American slasher film directed by Wes Craven, written by Kevin Williamson. So written and directed by the same people, starring David Arquette, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Jamie Kennedy, Laurie Metcalf, Jerry O'Connell, Jada Pinkett, and Liev Schreiber or Schreiber.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Sounds familiar. Who's that?
Will Smith's wife,
Wait, what?
mother of Jaden and Willow.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
The girl at the beginning in the theater. Oh,
Mhm.
wow. I did not realize that. Huh. Okay.
Small world.
Yeah, that's crazy. Man, he was still Fresh Prince of Bel-Air at this time.
Bone and raised. There you go.
Okay, the plot. So, they're in college at this point. Maureen Evans and Phil Stevens attend a sneak preview of Stab. So, in the movie Scream 2 or Scream, there's a movie of the events that happened in Scream called Stab. So, anyways, Maureen Evans and Phil Stevens are in a sneak preview of Stab, which is a film that's based on the events of the first film. During the movie, Phil uses the restroom and is killed by Ghostface. Ghostface is the murderer. If you didn't know. Ghostface enters to a screening and sits beside Maureen, and she thinks that it's Phil trying to scare her, and Ghostface stabs her and kills her. So that's the beginning of Scream 2. Have you seen Scream 2?
In a movie theater. Actually, it's been so long. I think I've watched it like once.
You've probably seen Scary Movie
Sure.
more times than you're confusing them.
Oh yeah, well they spoofed the fuck out of like all the Scream movies.
Yes, they
so,
did.
So it's kind of hard to weed my way through, but stab people in a movie theater. The balls on Ghostface in this
Mhm.
one. My
Mhm.
God.
Yep. Big balls. So, the following day, the news media, including local journalist Debbie Salt, descend on Windsor College, where Sidney Prescott studies alongside her best friend, Hallie McDaniel. Her new boyfriend, Derek Feldman, fellow
Oh,
Woodsboro.
you know he's the fucking killer.
Oh, you think right off the bat that he's the killer. The new boyfriend who seems like he's not the
They
killer.
have to be.
So, yeah, you're like, this guy is guilty right here. Her new boyfriend, Derek Feldman, fellow Woodsboro survivor, Randy Meeks, and Derek's best friend, Mickey Altery. Two other Woodsboro survivors arrive at the campus, Officer Dewey Riley, to help Sidney and reporter Gail Weathers to cover the case. Gail tries to stage a confrontation between Sidney and Cotton, who is attempting to gain fame for his exoneration for the murder of Sidney's mother, Maureen Prescott. After Gail forcibly confronts Sidney with Cotton, Sidney angrily hits Gail.
You tell me Meeks is alive?
Randy Meeks is the Blockbuster guy.
I swear to God, I thought he was dead.
No, he makes it through the first movie. He's totally alive because in the first movie, Stu and Randy, like, they get into a fight at the very end. Stu shoots Randy, I think, but he does not die.
Jesus.
Later that evening, Sidney goes to a party with Hallie. At a sorority house, Ghostface murders student Cece Cooper, which is Sarah Michelle Gellar. After all the party goers leave, Ghostface crashes the party and attacks Sidney, though Derek intervenes. Ghostface injures Derek but flees when the police arrive. Later, after realizing that Cece's real name is Casey, Gail theorizes that the new Ghostface targets students having the same names as the Woodsboro murder victims.
Copycat killer.
Right. So there's a copycat killer going around, and they're killing the people
So
with the
nice.
with the same name. You know, I don't really. Okay, out of all the Scream movies, I love the first one, and the second, third, and fourth are not very good at all, in my opinion. A lot of people like the second one though, and I'm like, it's not too good.
I think they rank in like descending order from like the first to the fourth. You know, like just a spiral.
Well, the order I like it is 1, 4, 2, 3. The fourth one is not good, but it's not like horrible.
This is the fourth one, Hollywood Scream.
No, that's the third one. So the first one, they're in high school. Second one, they're in college. Third one, they're in Hollywood. Fourth one, they're like in some other town. They're just straight up adults.
Retirement home.
Pretty much.
Come get me, you bastard. Yeah,
And stay off my lawn.
exactly.
Okay, Gail, Dewey, and Randy are talking on campus lawn when Ghostface calls, hinting that he is watching them. Gail and Dewey decide to search for him while Randy keeps talking. As Gail and Dewey are looking around the campus, Ghostface drags Randy into Gail's broadcast van and murders him. So right here,
What?
yeah, the Blockbuster guy gets murdered right here in the second movie.
For real this time?
For real murdered, yes.
Jamie, no!
Yep, Jamie Kennedy, dead. So young.
Rip.
Yep. As night falls, Dewey and
Picture
Gale
date.
review the tape of Ghostface killing Randy. The killer attacks them, stabbing Dewey, while Gale escapes. Two officers drive Sidney and Hallie to the station, but Ghostface murders them. In the ensuing struggle, Ghostface is knocked unconscious but soon revives and he kills Hallie, prompting Sidney to flee. Back at the campus, Sidney finds Derek in the auditorium, tied to a cross. Her boyfriend, Derek. Sidney begins to untie him when Ghostface arrives. So at this point, this is the climax of the movie or whatever, but you're thinking Derek, the boyfriend, is like in on it, you know? You're like, okay, he's
Look at
playing
you
the
crawling
goof.
up there on that cross.
Yeah, he's playing the role right now. But so Ghostface arrives, the killer reveals himself to be Mickey and shoots Derek, killing him. So the boyfriend Derek,
Wait, the Blockbuster guy?
no, Mickey is a new
Who
character.
the fuck is Mickey?
No, the Blockbuster guy is Randy.
Meeks.
Yeah, Randy Meeks. Mickey is a new character that arrived in the second movie, and he was like a film student, you know? So Mickey kills Derek, the boyfriend. Mickey tells Sidney that he intends to kill her and allow himself to be arrested so he can blame violence in movies for the murders at trial and be acquitted on the grounds of insanity. So that right there, you're like, what? So he plans on being caught and then being freed on grounds of insanity.
Totally 90s shit
Yep.
right there.
So he introduces Debbie Salt as his accomplice, whom Sidney recognizes as Miss Loomis, the mother of Billy Loomis, who is seeking revenge against Sidney for killing her son. Yeah, so Debbie Salt, which was the reporter at the beginning, who's been in and out of the movie talking to Gale every once in a while, turns out that is Billy's mother. And Billy was the murderer in the first movie. Yeah, so Billy's mother, had a husband who had an affair with Sidney's mom. Right. So essentially, Sidney's mom got rid of her husband and, Sidney got rid of Billy. So the mother of Billy is like super pissed at all this. So she teams up with Mickey, this crazy murderer kid, and they try to kill Sidney.
Is this the same Billy's mom that slept with Cotton?
Wait, what?
Isn't there some sort of like somebody sleeping with somebody else drama going on?
No.
Sydney's mom killed herself because somebody, her husband, fucking was sleeping with Billy's mom.
No, not that I'm aware of. As far as I know, the only person that stuff happened to is Sidney's mom and Billy's dad.
Okay. Oh, what? Who killed Sydney's mom again?
Billy Loomis, the murderer in the first movie, killed Sidney's mom.
Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, so you think Sydney would be keeping track of this shit and like watching out for who gets screwed over the most?
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a lot of
Who'd
stuff
think?
where you're like, okay, like this could have been avoided big time.
Like, oh shit, there's a murder going on. Let me see what Billy's mom's up to.
Yeah, like who would possibly
Direct a voicemail.
Yeah, you could just think by process of elimination on who has a vendetta against you. Like, have you murdered anybody lately? Yes. Okay, well, maybe a relative of them? It seems very obvious.
Relative, friend, lover. I could 6 degrees of separation would be like probably the smartest thing.
Yeah. Mickey explains that Miss Loomis paid for his tuition in exchange for him to murder all these people. Miss Loomis then portrays Mickey and shoots him. Before Mickey collapses, he shoots Gale, causing her to fall off the stage. Sidney and Miss Loomis fight. until Cotton intervenes and Miss Loomis is holding a knife to Sydney's throat. Miss Loomis attempts to persuade Cotton to let her kill Sydney, but then Cotton shoots Miss Loomis, killing her instantly. As they debate whether or not Miss Loomis is really dead, Gale is still alive. Mickey suddenly resurfaces and attacks the group, and Gale and Sydney respond by violently shooting him to death. Sydney turns to Miss Loomis's corpse and shoots her in the head to make sure she's dead. When the police arrive the next morning, Dewey is revealed to still be alive. Sydney instructs the press to direct questions to Cotton, rewarding him with the fame that he's been chasing throughout this whole movie. And then Sydney leaves the campus. End of movie.
Cotton is Cindy's dad.
No, Cotton is the dude that Sydney said killed her mom in the first movie, which he did not, because Billy Loomis killed her mom.
Is Cotton just like some random dude?
Yes, Cotton is some random dude that Sydney, when she was a kid, said killed her mom. And it's like, you know, it was just the testimony of some kid, you know. So he's actually innocent, but he's a character in the movies now.
Goddamn.
Yeah, he's like some random guy.
Well, I was about to say, like, why is Sydney's dad trying to be famous? But some random motherfucker then.
Yeah, not
why
Sydney's
not?
dad. Cotton is some random person.
Why the fuck not? Go Cotton.
Okay,
Make it.
so Scream 3. Have you seen Scream 3?
No. Maybe.
It's the one where they're in Hollywood.
Oh, I literally saw this one time when I was like very young. Probably like, was it 2000 it came out?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Scream 3 is a 2000 American slasher film directed by Wes Craven and written by Ehren Kruger. So a new guy wrote this movie.
I'll be.
Okay, so Cotton Weary, which is the guy that Sydney accused of killing her mother in the first movie, now living in Los Angeles, and is the host of a successful talk television show called 100% Cotton, is contacted by Ghostface, who demands to know the whereabouts of Sidney Prescott. Cotton refuses to cooperate, and Ghostface comes to his home. Cotton and his girlfriend Christine are murdered. So, in Scream 3 at the very beginning, Cotton Weary and his girlfriend get murdered by Ghostface, who's looking for Sidney.
That's probably the only part of the movie I remember.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I watched it about a week ago, and I don't even remember most of it. This movie is just not good, you know?
Forgettable. Indeed.
Detective Mark Kincaid contacts Gale Weathers to discuss the murders, prompting her to travel to Hollywood, where she finds Dewey Riley working as an advisor on the set of Stab 3, the third film in the series based on the Ghostface murders. Using a voice changer as a ruse, Ghostface kills Stab 3 actress Sarah Darling. Sydney, now 21, is living in seclusion as a crisis counselor for an abused woman's hotline, fearing that another killer may strike. So at this point, Sydney has been involved in 2 murder sprees. So she's like straight up living on top of a hill out in the middle of nowhere with like 15 fences surrounding her house. And, you know, which is the part where I would believe, I'd be like, okay, good. She's doing something about people wanting to kill her all the time.
But how many guns does she own? That's
Don't
the
know,
question.
probably 0.
A dumb bitch. Well, unfortunately, she hasn't learned much from her experience. Wow, all these sprees got ended with a gun. Maybe I should learn how to shoot. Poor Sydney.
Having discovered Sydney's location, the killer begins taunting her by phone, forcing her out of hiding and drawing her to Hollywood. As the remaining Stab 3 cast, along with Dewey and Gale, gather at the home of Jennifer Jolie, Ghostface murders her bodyguard and uses a gas leak to cause an explosion, killing fellow actor Tom Prince in the process. Martha Meeks, the sister of Sydney's friend Randy, who was murdered while Sydney was in college, visits Sydney and the others to drop off a videotape that Randy had made before his death. Which was, you know, so Randy, the Blockbuster guy, made a video of himself that was basically like a video where it's like, upon my death, release this video. and the video is warning them about the rules of horror movies and that they don't apply to anyone in the third and final horror movie because the final movie, doesn't really matter like what happens because there's no fourth movie, right? So he's basically saying that anybody could die in this movie, the third Scream movie.
Even Sidney.
Yeah, even Sidney.
That is a weird fucking last will and testament right there.
Yeah, bit strange. Yeah.
Like, send him this video of me talking about the same shit I'm constantly talking about, except years later.
Yeah.
Like a fucking like a time capsule or something.
Yeah. Good.
After I'm dead, but only after another murder spree happens. Now that is some lazy writing.
Oh yeah, this movie's full of it.
Oh, that's some like voice from beyond the grave bullshit right there. Like they just kind of shoehorn that in. I can feel it.
Dewey, Gail, Jennifer, and the remaining Stab 3 cast, Angelina and Tyson, attend the birthday party for Stab 3's director, Roman Bridger, where Ghostface strikes. Gail discovers Roman's dead body in the basement. Angelina wanders off alone before she is also murdered. Tyson attempts to fight Ghostface, but the killer manages to throw him off a balcony to his death. Jennifer tries to escape through a secret passage, but Ghostface kills her as well. The killer then orders Sidney to the mansion to save Gail and Dewey, who are being held hostage. When she arrives, Ghostface forces Sidney to abandon her firearm and lures her inside, where Gail and Dewey are bound and gagged with duct tape.
Did I just hear relinquish her firearm?
So she actually had a gun at this point.
Oh,
yeah, she was prepared. She prepared. As Sidney is untying them, Ghostface appears. Though Sidney gains the upper hand by using a second hidden gun to fight him off. So she has two guns.
Thank you, Sidney. Oh my God, I take back everything I said.
She'd be all right. Detective Kincaid.
Oh my God, did she shoot him through the head immediately?
No, body. Shot him in the body.
No, fucking that bitch.
Right in the body.
Right in the weak spot.
Yeah. Detective Kincaid shows up but is knocked unconscious by Ghostface. Sidney flees and hides in a secret screening room where she encounters Ghostface. He reveals himself as Roman, having faked his death and survived being shot due to a bulletproof vest. Roman admits to being Sidney's half-brother, born to their mother Maureen Prescott, where she was an actress in Hollywood. Okay, so Roman, the director guy, is a half-brother of Sidney. They have the same mom. 4 years ago, he had unsuccessfully tried reuniting with her, his mother, but he was rejected. Roman would film all the men she philandered with. He showed Billy Loomis the footage of his father with Maureen, which motivated him to kill her, thus setting off the string of murders in Sidney's hometown and at her college.
Oh, fuck.
However, when he discovered how much fame Sidney had attracted due to those events, Roman snapped and lured Sidney out of hiding. You following?
This motherfucker was in it from the beginning.
Yeah, he's the one who started. He's the one who convinced Billy to start trying to kill Sidney.
So there's potentially more people in the Ghostface costume than just Billy and what.
Oh yeah, this opens up a whole thing of craziness.
So it literally could be any number of people at this point. They just the rules do not apply anymore. Thanks, Meeks.
Oh yeah,
for clarifying.
Yeah, and they introduced guns. They're shooting people, but they're wearing bulletproof vests now. So it's just
because they don't shoot them in the head.
Oh no,
Hello?
right in the body.
All right.
Roman then tells Sidney of his plan to frame her for the murders before killing Stab producer John Milton. Sidney furiously tells Roman that he is responsible for all of the events that have occurred. A fight ensues between Sidney and Roman, which ends when Roman shoots Sidney in the chest. Sidney disappears, only to reappear and stab Roman in the back and chest. As he lies bleeding, Sidney shows him that she too is wearing a bulletproof vest. Dewey and Gail arrive as Roman recovers, only for Dewey to shoot him in the head, killing him. So there's just a bunch of people wearing a bulletproof vest, a bunch of people shooting. Yeah, now.
Are you telling me Dewey finally fucking did something?
Dewey finally shot him in the head. Yes, it's about time. Sometime after
Are you sure he wasn't wearing a bulletproof mask or something?
Wouldn't surprise me at this point. Sometime after at Sydney's house, Dewey proposes to Gale, who accepts. Sydney returns for a walk. Yeah, Dewey and Gale, two opposites, got married. Sydney returns for a walk with her dog and leaves her gates, which were previously shown to be alarmed, open. She enters her home and is invited to join Dewey, Gale, and Detective Kincaid to watch a movie. As she goes to join the others, her front door blows open behind her, but she walks away, leaving it, as is finally confident that the murders are over.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
She leaves her door wide open.
yeah, she leaves the door wide open at the end, and it's like a moment where she stops, looks at the door, and then like just goes and watches TV.
What the fuck? She's like, that's cool. I'll shoot him in the head this time.
But here's the thing: I think that was more of a thing saying that the door's open for another movie, not so much as like.
Oh, that's some fucking really heavy-handed shit.
Yeah,
right
I think it was more just like, hey, we're leaving the door open for another movie type thing. Not so much the killer thing that this article says, but yeah, so that was the third movie, also known as the worst one in my opinion.
the Hollywood Hulk Hogan of Scream movies. All right, I gotcha.
Hulk Hogan. Oh man. Okay, so next up is Scream 4. Came out in 2011, an American slasher film directed by Wes Craven and written by Kevin Williamson. So,
are you fucking kidding me? Wes Craven did this one too?
Yeah, this is the last movie he did. And I think he passed away a few years after or something.
Okay. Oh my god, it almost made 100 million in the box office.
Wow. Oh yeah, 97.1. Wow.
That blows my mind.
So, Scream 4, have you seen it?
I can't lie to you. I don't think I have.
Okay, you don't need to see it, but it
looks like Macaulay Culkin's brother.
Yes, yes, he is. The cast is who do we got here? David Arquette, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox. So you got the main three. Then we got some newcomers: Emma Roberts, Hayden Panettiere, Anthony Anderson, Allison Brie, Adam Brody, Rory Culkin. Hey, Rory Culkin, there he is. Marielle Jaff, Eric Knudsen, Marion McDonald, Marley Shelton, and Nico Tortella.
Oh man, the whole crew's here.
We got the whole gang. The whole gang's back. Okay, so Scream 4.
Are back in town.
On the 15th anniversary of the original Woodsboro Massacre, high school students Jenny Randall and Marnie Cooper are murdered by a new Ghostface. The following day, Sidney Prescott, now 32 years old, returns to Woodsboro to promote her new book with her publicist, Rebecca Walters. After evidence is found in Sidney's rental car, Sidney becomes a suspect in the murders and must stay in town until they are solved. Sidney's cousin, Jill, who is dealing with the betrayal of her ex-boyfriend, Trevor Sheldon, gets a threatening phone call from Ghostface, as does her friend and neighbor, Olivia Morris. Jill and Olivia, alongside their friend Kirby Reed, are questioned about their calls by Dewey Riley, who is now the sheriff, while one of his deputies, Judy Hicks, assists him in the case. Meanwhile, Dewey's wife, Gail Withers Riley, is struggling with writer's block and decides to investigate the murder instead.
Somebody get killed already?
Yeah, it starts out with two high school girls getting murdered. Sidney stays with Jill and her aunt Kate Roberts. Later that night, Olivia is killed by Ghostface as Jill and Kirby watch in horror. Sidney and Jill rush in to save Olivia, but her killer injures them and gets away. Sidney fires Rebecca after learning of her plan to use the murders as a means to increase book sales. Rebecca is subsequently murdered in the parking garage by Ghostface. Gail enlists the help of two high school movie fanatics, Charlie Walker and Robbie Mercer, who explain that the killer is using the rules of movie remakes. Charlie concludes that the killer will likely strike at a stab marathon screening party being held that night.
The rules of movie remakes.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's oddly specific.
Like the typical things that were in Scream 1. So Charlie and Robbie are like the movie nerds, and they're predicting that there's going to be a murder at their stab screening. So Gail's like, okay, I'm gonna check that out.
So was this supposed to be a remake of Scream 1 or something?
Yeah, Stab is a movie of the events that happened in Scream.
Damn.
And Stab
From
2,
what it sounds like, they're doing a Scream 1, but like more is better. Like you think one girl dying in the beginning was terrible? Let's do two of them.
yeah.
And we can't just have one movie buff. We need two of them.
Gail goes to the party to investigate, but Ghostface injures her and flees when Dewey arrives. At Jill's house, Sidney discovers that the policemen assigned to guard the house are also dead.
How did Dewey know to show up?
How did Dewey know what?
To show up to the house
Um,
to save what's her ass? Is it because he's in on it, or
no, I think
what?
Gail told Dewey to that she was going there.
Oh, well, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
because they're married, so I'm sure
They're
there's
married and all.
communication.
A bit of communication, but that's what I get for judging Dewey.
Yeah. Okay, Jill, Kirby, Charlie, Robbie, and Trevor are at Kirby's house when Ghostface appears. Ghostface approaches a drunken Robbie and murders him. Sidney arrives at the house to leave with Jill until they are both chased by Ghostface. Sidney evades the killer and calls Dewey. Kirby is forced to answer horror trivia to save Charlie, who is tied up outside. Meanwhile, Sidney goes upstairs to find Jill. After Kirby answers Ghostface questions, she goes outside to untie Charlie. He suddenly stabs her in the stomach and reveals himself as Ghostface before leaving her for dead. Sidney is confronted by Charlie and stabbed by a second Ghostface who is revealed as Jill. Okay, so now we know who the killers are in the movie. It's Jill, which is Sidney's cousin, and Charlie, which is one of the movie nerds.
Damn it! We saw that coming.
Which is Rory Culkin and Emma Roberts.
Rory did it. No.
Mm-hmm. He's a bad guy. Jill explains that her motive was out of anger and jealousy because of the fame that Sidney had received for surviving the murders, and that they intend to frame Trevor as Ghostface. Charlie then pulls Trevor out of the closet, and Jill kills him. Jill then betrays Charlie and kills him as a means to put him as Trevor's accomplice and make herself the sole survivor. Jill stabs Sidney in the stomach and mutilates herself to make it seem as if Trevor attacked her. Later, Dewey, Judy, and the rest of the police stumble upon the carnage.
So, Rory got killed, or what
Yeah.
was that?
Rory Culkin, his name was
Trevor?
no, Trevor is the boyfriend.
Oh shit!
Charlie.
He's dead.
So Charlie and Jill were the murderers. Jill betrayed Charlie because Jill wanted to be the sole survivor, like how Sidney was, because her whole thing is she wants to be famous, like how Sidney is kind of famous,
That's some obtuse ass shit right there. Like, really?
Yeah. Sidney and Jill are then taken to the hospital. After discovering that Sidney has survived, Jill goes to Sidney's hospital room and attempts to finish her. Dewey, Gail, and Judy intervene, having been clued by a detail about Gail's injury that Jill somehow knew. Jill subdues Dewey and Judy and holds Gail at gunpoint before Sidney incapacitates her with a defibrillator and shoots her dead. Dewey calls in all police units as media reporters outside confirm Jill as the sole surviving hero. End of movie.
You tell me Jill subdued Dewey?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Like, with her hands? Like,
No, she grabbed a toilet pan, one of those metal toilet things that they have in hospitals. She grabbed one and hit him in the head with it.
Oh, God,
yeah, he's still a goober. He's never not a goober in the movie. Like, he's always clumsy and just, pretty dumb. So he walks right in.
And he's the sheriff of that
He
town.
knows that, like, something bad's going on in the room. He walks right on in and doesn't really look around. And then Jill's right behind him. And she just smacks him in the head and he falls down. Then takes his gun. Now she has a gun. And that's how she shoots Hicks, which is the deputy but she was wearing a vest, a bulletproof vest, so she didn't die.
I mean,
And that's it.
somebody smart. A deputy wearing a bulletproof vest. I find that hard to believe, but
Yeah.
how the Dewey? Seriously,
But
Dewey? You fucking dude. That dude's in on it for sure.
what? Dewey?
Dewey, he's totally fucking in on it. Didn't he get injured in the fourth one as
He
well?
gets injured
Oh,
in
he got
every
knocked
single movie.
out.
He gets
Yeah.
injured in every movie. Like in the third movie, he's like walking with a limp the whole time. Like in the fourth movie, he's like recovered, and he's like messed up. He's gotten cut, shot, all sorts of stuff has happened to him.
He got stabbed in the spine in the first movie. The second movie,
Yeah.
I think he got stabbed in the spine again. The third movie, he got shot.
Oh yeah, ton of stuff.
In this movie, he got hit in the head with a bedpan.
Yep.
Dude, that dude's totally funneling information. Like he's probably the master.
Oh man.
Like Rory definitely was part of it, but I think it's obvious that there's like more than two Ghostface at any given time. I think they cover like this costume is found in every convenience store for 20 miles around. Something bullshit.
Yeah.
But so there's no lack of costumes. So I'm pretty sure there's probably like 4 or 5.
Oh, I'm sure.
Or Dewey is definitely one of them. Rory was probably in on the first one because there's a bunch of continuity issues. Like Billy's here, Billy's there, and then fucking Ghostface is like all the way down the road, like giving him a phone call or like checking him out at the supermarket.
Yeah, there's a lot of errors in all the movies. Yeah, a lot of issues.
I think those errors are made because there's another person. Maybe Dewey and Gale. Maybe they're both in on it.
That's likely. Who knows? The 5th one's coming out next year. I'm looking at it right now.
No way.
Same writer. Oh, sorry. No. Different people. But Nev Campbell and David Arquette are in the movie. So,
Dewey doesn't know when to
and
quit.
the main girl.
Oh man. And like, bro, these Ghostfaces are getting like fucking like wrecked. You know, they're getting like smashed with like every conceivable blunt object, and they like get up and start running.
Yeah.
Like superhero bullshit.
It's different. Like and Michael Myers, or in Halloween, Michael Myers is like a bulletproof, non-stop walking machine. In Scream,
No, stop walking.
Like he falls constantly and like, trips over stuff, gets hurt, gets knocked out. It's different,
It's a little more realistic.
Yeah.
In that sense, except, depending on where this takes place. I'm assuming this takes place in California, which probably explains why nobody has a fucking gun unless they have a good reason. And City's probably got a court order.
Oh, I'm sure.
At this point, like she is a walking, talking arsenal.
Yeah,
she should be.
So this is a great Scream 1 is amazing. Like I cannot emphasize Scream enough. The rest are pretty much garbage, but the first one is amazing.
Yeah, from what I remember, the third one was like hot.
It's so funny. Like the first one's so funny too. Like the cops in there, like like where's the donuts? Like you can hear that in the background, and like Stu Matthew Lillard is like over the top, just silly.
Oh my god, he sells it like sells it so good. Wow, wait, there's more. Yeah, he does some good stuff there. Fucking Shaggy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you got anything else to say about Scream?
Not really. I think it probably is like a haunted suit or something, or it's like made of Kevlar.
Oh wow! Like the first non-realistic one, where it's like something supernatural.
There is some supernatural tendencies. These guys, it's a hyper realistic show. It's not like you said, Halloween, where the dude's getting stabbed through the eye socket, and he's like, "All right, let's keep walking." Like these guys are like, "Ugh!" like fucking like rolling on the ground, like writhing in agony. And like the next scene, they're sprinting full blast. I'm like, there's got to be either some supernatural crap
2 killers.
or 3 killers, 4 killers, a whole
A
clan
dozen.
of killers,
A dozen killers.
Yeah. 2 dozen
A
killers,
baker's dozen.
of killers, minimum. I don't know. Maybe they'll dip into some fan theories in the 5th one, or they'll just, Ghostbusters 2016 it. It's an all female cast and
Man,
Scream.
I don't see a way that Scream 5 is going to be at all good. I just don't see a way. I don't see how there's any salvaging the storyline or anything at this point.
Well, they've tried to reboot this thing like multiple times. There's like a TV series.
I've never seen the
Scream.
TV series.
Yeah, it's all right.
Like, the only thing they could do is now a
It's all right.
copycat killer, which they've already done.
3 times.
Or it would have to be some crazy, like, out of the woods type deal. Some other person that has something against Sydney somehow, and then it's just the whole thing is like, okay, same exact story.
Yeah, that was really the problem with the 3rd movie. Like when I watched it, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Why is Sydney still in this bitch?" Like who Sydney has got like slain all of her enemies. She has nobody left in her path. Sydney, the destroyer.
Yeah, pretty much.
The destroyer of worlds, Sydney. But maybe we'll find out something.
Well, we're gonna find out in 2021.
I'm probably gonna watch it.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it.
But,
I'm gonna definitely watch it.
Ghostface is one of them classic killers. He doesn't even have to have a good motivation. He's just like a fucking combat knife wielding murderer that sprints full speed. It's crazy to see a full speed killer slasher. Like Jason and all the other walking murderers.
Yeah.
That's a typical genre, but this is cranked up to 11. It was revolutionary for the time.
Yep.
But now we're in the paranormal activity age. We're gonna have to like deal with that bullshit. It's probably gonna be like a bunch of violent stings and like fucking jump scares and stupid bullshit like fucking Insidious or whatever. But
well, we're gonna find out. Okay, well, this has been Scream. This is Learning the Burner. I'm Garrett.
And this is Neville.
And we'll see you later. Bye.